When I was just starting my social media business, I knew I needed a social media strategy. All the experts and the gurus told me so, right? But I didn't really know how to go about building it. And to be honest, nobody was really sharing how to build a strategy. But that stops today, and it starts with me sharing how to build a strategy that gets results. Are you ready to learn how? I know I'm ready to teach you. Episode 133 starts right now. Hey there, welcome to the Lora Shipman Show. We hang out here weekly to talk about things like social media, entrepreneurship, marketing, tools, strategies, tips, and it all starts right now. Hey there, before we get started with this show, I just want to share my passion with you. I love teaching people just like you how to master social media for business, breaking it down into easy to consume and easy to execute steps so that you can see immediate results. So whether you want to start a social media consultancy or grow your brand's presence on social media, I can help. I can help you get started and master all the things that you need to know. So I want you to go over to my website. It is filled with resources, tools, tips, and courses. Visit lorashipman.com. That's LORA Shipman.com to get all the goods. Now, you ready for the show? I know I am. Let's get started. Okay, let's dive in so you guys can get the information you need so that you can build your own strategy. The first place you need to start, I believe, is with goals. Why are you on social media in the first place? And I'm sorry, I cannot accept the answer to make sales, because if that was the case, it would be called sales media, not social media. So always keep that word social in mind. So now you're probably scratching your head saying, well, if I'm not in it for sales, what kind of goals can I track? There are 4 major types of goals you can track through social media. The first goal that you can track is brand awareness, letting people know that your business is there, what your business is, what your beliefs are, all of the things that makes you and your business a brand. The second one is lead generation. You want to collect qualified leads and then nurture those leads offline. Number 3 would be just engagement, talking to your audience and who they are, learning what makes them tick, learning what they want from you, from your brand, from your product, your services, all of those things. It's a built-in focus group, right? Number 4 is building a community or a group of raving fans, right? These are people who are hanging out in Facebook groups, who show up on your lives, who communicate with you through chats and instant messages and all of those things. So really try and spend some time and figure out what one of those goals or all of those goals are they going to help you get to your end result, which is to ultimately make sales. Which one of those are going to help you do that the fastest? The second part of your strategy is understanding your target market's social media behavior. This is going to light a path for you. It's going to help you create the right kind of content for the right people. So there are 4 things that you need to look at. You want to know what social media platforms your audience is active on. You want to know what kind of content do they really respond to? Is it educational? Is it entertainment? Is it inspirational? That kind of thing. You want to know how they consume content, and then you want to know how you are going to be able to connect with them the best on social media. So let's talk about how they consume content. Do they like a static post and they get to read the caption? Do they like live video? Do they like short form stories? What kind of content do they prefer? Are they audio people? Do they prefer podcasts? All of that stuff you need to find out so you can deliver the right kind of content to them. And then connecting with your audience, you need to know, how do these people want to talk to you? Do they just want to talk to you in the comments? Or do they want to send you a direct message? Do they want to see you live so they can interact with you in real time? All of these things you need to know about your target market's behavior when it comes to social media. And once you get that nailed, you're going to know exactly what kind of content to deliver and when. Now that we know what your target market is doing on social media and we know your goals, it's time to put some metrics and KPIs or key performance indicators into place. It's just not enough to set a goal, right? You need to measure to see if you're hitting those goals. So some of the most common types of metrics or KPIs people find useful in social media are how many downloads are people getting, how many subscribers, reach, the total number of people who actually see your content, click-throughs to your website, and email list growth. Those are just 5 different metrics that you can measure, but there's so many more. What I invite you to do and I encourage you to do is take a look at your analytics of the social media platform you're going to be using and see which metrics really marry up to your overall goals for being on social media. That's where the rubber hits the road. That's where you're going to find out if your efforts are working and when you need to make changes to your overall plan or strategy, when you need to pivot, all of those types of things. Now that you have all of your foundational strategy in place, now comes the fun part. You want to figure out your frequency. How often are you going to be posting to your social media platforms of choice? I recommend a minimum of 3 times a week. We're going for quality here, not quantity. So you want to be really focused and you really want to put out amazing content so that you position yourself as a thought leader and an authority in your niche. But what if you really have no clue? You're just starting out. You have no idea. You've never done this before. How do you really know how frequently you should be posting? Here's what you should try and do. Take a look at what your competition is doing and pay close attention to them. You and your competition, you guys have the same audience. Pay attention to what your competition is doing, how their audience is responding to what they are producing. Watching your competition will give you a good baseline to work from, but don't stay stuck there. Instead, watch what they are doing, tweak from there to best fit your brand and your audience. And here are some things you can watch for. You may want to set these things up in a little spreadsheet so you can keep track of everything. So you want to find out how frequently does your competition post, what type of content is most likely to be consumed. And you can tell that by the number of likes, if you're still measuring likes, depending on where you are, especially on Instagram, or how many shares something gets, or also how many comments it gets. What type of content gets the most engagement? This one is super important because it tells you the type of content your audience really wants to interact with. So pay attention to that engagement factor. The next one is figure out what type of content gets the most shares. And that type of content is also really important to pay attention to because that's what gets you your reach and gets you in front of more eyeballs, new eyeballs. What time of day does your competition post? Because that's important because then you get to figure out when your audience is most likely online. So go ahead and turn on post notifications for your competition and you'll get a notification on Instagram every time they post, and then you can start tracking what time of day that they actually do put content out. And then the last one you want to take a look at is really look at what they're saying to their audience and what calls to actions or CTAs they are using to get their audience to respond. Now, here's the thing. Don't copy what they're doing. You're doing this just for research and information. Make it your own. Put your own words behind all of this. Never copy what someone else is doing because it's not going to get you anywhere because that is not your voice speaking. It's someone else's voice. So be very, very careful of this and make sure you're doing this for research only. The next part of your strategy that you really want to perfect is to identify the best call to action that you possibly can. And from this point forward, I'm going to refer to it as CTA. So what you want to do is you want to develop a list of CTAs that you're going to use within your content to compel your audience to take action. Now, hear me on this. Avoid the common overused CTAs like click the link in the bio or click here or follow this link. Instead, get creative because that stuff is just noise and static, right? Have fun with your audience. Bring your personality through in your CTAs. So here are a few examples to get your creative juices flowing. The first idea is try for free and then provide a link. And here's the goal here is to get people to your website and generate more traffic. The second one is don't keep this a secret, share now. The goal here, you want to get shares and exposure. The third one is comment with your favorite XYZ. Getting people to give their opinion or their advice or their knowledge about something The goal here is to get more engagement. And then the last one is tell a friend. And again, the goal here is shares and exposure. So use those 4 ideas and examples to get your creative juices flowing and put it in the language that you would use if you were talking to your audience. The next step in our strategy is to create a content plan. Now that you have your goals in place and you know how you're going to measure them, it's time to create a content plan with a focused vision. So the easiest way for me to create content is to actually just choose a theme for the month and create as much content around that theme as possible. So for example, at the time of this podcast, my theme for the month is all about content creation. And all month long, all I'm going to be doing is sharing information about content, how to create it effectively and efficiently. That is positioning myself as an authority in the area of social media content creation. So anything you see from me this month is going to be on my blog, my podcast, and my social media posts is going to be all about content creation. So do the same thing with your business. When you are an authority in your space, you build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience so much quicker. And an audience who is hearing the same kind of theme from you over and over again is going to automatically now link you with that specialty or with that authority. And when an audience really gets to know you, like you, and trust you, they're going to be the audience that is most likely to buy from you. Okay, the last part of our overall strategy here is hashtags, and they are one of the best ways for your business and your content to be found, especially on social platforms like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So to develop a healthy, strong hashtag strategy, what you're going to want to do is include a good mix of branded hashtags, local hashtags, trending hashtags for your industry, and niche hashtags. I have a great little blog article that breaks this all down. I don't want to take up the time now to do it. I will link to this in the show notes so you can start creating a really strong hashtag strategy. And one other thing I'm going to include in the show notes is actually a worksheet for this overall social media strategy. So you guys can put this plan on paper and then follow it. And if you've got people who are working with you and helping you develop social media, you can give it to them and say, this is the plan that I want you to follow, or the strategy that we're going to use in order to hit whatever one of those goals or all the goals that you picked early on in this episode. So my friends, that is it for this episode. I hope it was helpful for you. I also hope that it kind of clears up anything about putting together a social media strategy. Again, for me, the word strategy, when I first heard it, when I was first starting out on social media, was a little bit intimidating because I believed I didn't know enough about social media to create a strategy. And if you're in that place, what I just broke down for you today is really going to help you. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do me a favor, write me a review. I would really appreciate it. It really helps me know what kind of topics you like to hear. And it also helps other people know that this is a quality podcast. Thanks again for tuning in today, and I will catch you next time. Until then, stay social. Hey there, I just want to say thank you for spending time with me here today. I know your time is super valuable, which is why I am dedicated to providing lots of usable, actionable information in the shortest amount of time possible. Before you go, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. And if you have ideas or topics you would like me to cover in an upcoming show, let me know about it in the comment section provided.